I received the following letter. When I was like 4 years old, my father left my mother, my younger sister, and myself, and I've never seen him since. When I was 6, my mother couldn't take it anymore, and one day she took my sister and me over to my grandparents' house in the next state and just dropped us off at their house. She didn't even take us in or anything, just dumped us at the door and drove off. Then I didn't see her again for years, and my grandparents were mean as hell to us for all the years I lived there. And somehow I've managed to attract nothing but women who have used me and then left me. So my question is, what's wrong with me? What is so wrong with me that every single person in my life abandons me? End quote. Pain is the ultimate motivator. When people are in pain, they will often do whatever it takes to decrease it or get rid of it. And often they don't think clearly about what the process of escaping pain might mean to other people. In many cases, they can't think about it. Let me illustrate. Let's suppose that I walk up to you right now and stomp the heel of my boot onto the top of your foot. That would be quite painful, and you would instantly jump back in pain. But what if there were people behind you? What if there were a small child behind you and you knocked that child to the ground and, say, broke her arm? You wouldn't have meant to break that child's arm, but in your intense and immediate reaction to avoid your pain, you would still have done it. When we're in pain, we often don't think. In fact, many of us become a bit insane. Your father did that. I don't know everything that was going on in his life, but look at the evidence of his pain and what he did. He abandoned his wife and 4-year-old boy and 2-year-old daughter. Do you actually believe that a 2-year-old and 4-year-old could commit crimes serious enough that an adult man could feel justified in abandoning them? His leaving had nothing to do with you. I have known many men who have left their families. And so far, the story, after you eliminate all the details, has been nearly the same in almost every single one of the cases that I've heard. They were empty and afraid as a result of not feeling loved and supported for an entire lifetime. Your father was a miserable, unhappy human being long before you were ever born. He got married in the hope that your mother would somehow magically transform his life and make him happy. They exchanged imitation love for a while, and he thought that was pretty great, but that wore off, as it always does, and he was left with a feeling of bitterness and, even worse, emptiness. Did you have any part in this? Well, yes, actually, although it wasn't your fault. You were born, which wasn't by your choice. That was a result of an act of your parents' choice. And when you were born, it's a virtual certainty that both your parents had a hope that somehow you would love them. Now, if ever there was an insane hope, it is this one, and most parents have it. They hope that a little child with no life experience and even less training and love than they have will turn their lives around by giving them what they never got, by giving them what they never gave the child, love. The expectations that parents have of their children for love are quite crazy and, regrettably, equally common. Children can't handle the burden of unconditionally loving their parents. That expectation is wrong anyway. It's the job of parents to love their children. It's a one-way deal. And your father didn't have any to give you. He found himself in a position where he was expected to love your mother, you, and your sister, and he simply couldn't handle it. We'll talk more about that in our next session.